Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see how to use input statement in Python. Input is a function which is used to get input from the user interactively. That is, after you run the program, if you want to give any input for a calculation purpose, then you can give this input function. The syntax for using input function is identifier name is equal to input of, then within the brackets you will be writing the prompt. Okay, so prompt is a string that is going to be displayed on your screen in the output. Okay, so it is not necessary that you should give a prompt in the input function. You can give, or even if you are not giving, it is going to accept your input. Right, now let's go to idle and check how this input function works. Now let's write a statement using input function. Let me write name identifier is equal to input of within the brackets. So whatever string you need you want to display in the screen, that can be given here. So let me write what is your favorite color. Right, so now when I press the enter key, the string which is given in the prompt, that is within the input function, will be displayed. Let's see here. So after displaying the function, that is the prompt, you get a insertion point, right? This is where you need to give your input, right? So let's give the color. My favorite color, orange. So this is how it accepts the input values from the user. Okay, so what is the use of input function? It is a function which helps to receive input from the user. Okay, and one more important thing here you need to notice about input function is that it always returns a value of string type. That means whatever you give using input function, you may give a string like this, orange, or your name, or your designation, anything you can give, or you can give numbers also. But whatever you give, that will be accepted as a string input. That is, it will be accepted as characters, sequence of characters. Okay, you may give a number, but that will be accepted as a string. Then what will happen if you are going to use that number for calculation? Using strings, you cannot make more calculations, right? String accepts only few operations. So what if you want to perform more operations? Then you need to specify the data type while using input function. For example, if I am going to give my marks as input values, then I should inform the system, I should instruct the system that I am entering an integer or any number. Likewise, I have to give some instruction. For that, what can I do? Marks is equal to int. So this is a function which tells the system that the input which is given by the user to be converted to an integer, right? So what I am giving is int of input of enter your marks. So close the brackets. Now let me enter your marks, 89. See, now I am able to enter the marks. Now how do we know the data type of this value? You know the function type, right? Type is a function which helps to know the data type of any identifier. Let's check the data type of this name and also marks. Okay, as I told you already, this input returns the value of string type, right? So let me check that first. Type of marks. Yes, type of marks. Class int. Since I have used int function here, the input which is received from the user, 89, okay, that is converted to integer. Now let's check name, the data type of the identifier name. What will be the answer? Class string. Okay, so whatever you give, okay, you may give a number also. Let's check this marks once again without using this int function, right? Without using int function, let me receive the marks now. So I am giving the same value 89, and let's check the data type of this marks again. Listen, see here, it returns class string. So since I have not mentioned the data type, so by default it is going to accept everything as string. Right now, if I'm going to make any calculation in this, okay, so I'm going to convert this 89, okay, for I'm going to calculate the mark for 50. Okay, so this is a mark for 100, and I'm going to calculate this value for 89. Okay, so now you know the data type of this value as string. What if I make any calculation over this? Let's try. Let me do as mark 50. So for 50, how much it will come? Let me calculate. Right, marks divided by 2. Right, so this is how we'll calculate the 50% mark. Now let me check whether it gives me the answer or not. See here, I am getting an error message. What is the error? Unsupported operand type for string and int. Okay, so here marks is a string value. You cannot divide a string by an integer. Yes or no? So that is how it works. So when you are receiving some input using input function, it takes the value, it considers the value as string. So if you are entering a number which you are going to use it for any calculation in your program, then you need to explicitly mention the data type. And instead of int, you can use float also. If you are going to use some decimal point numbers, then you may use floating point also. For example, let me try with float. Percentage is equal to float of input of enter your percentage. Right, now if I am giving the value 67.8, yes, let's check the type of this percentage identifier now. See, it is float. Clear? And when you are explicitly mentioning this value as int and float, the value you are going to enter must be compatible with that. Okay, mentioning int in the input function and giving some string value will not be accepted by Python. For example, say I am entering English is equal to int of input of English marks. So now I should enter an input value as integer, but now what I am going to do is I am going to enter something else. I am going to enter English 87. Okay, so this is not an integer, actually it is a string, right? Now let's press the enter key and see what's going to happen. See here, invalid literal for integer, right? So if you are going to use input function or float function along with input function, then you must enter a input value which is compatible to the data type. Clear? So this is how we use input statement in Python. So let's recap. What is the use of input function? This is a function which is used to receive the input values from the user interactively, that is after running the program. Okay, I hope you understood this concept very well. Thank you.